Welcome to House of Horns. My name is Victor Corona, aka Victor Producer, and joining me as always is Gilbert Manzano, who does it for Sports Illustrated MMQB. And Gilbert, we're finally back after a week off. We also enjoyed the bye week, just like uh, the Rams did. But I know you're staying busy with a bunch of trades, but what do you see here for the Rams? Do you see them going out there and trading for another player? As of the reason I'm asking you this because Sean McVay was asked about it by the local reporters, and he said the Rams haven't had conversations about making an additional move ahead of the trade deadline, but added he wouldn't rule it out if an opportunity arose.
Yeah, definitely focus on that last part. Sorry, that's the second part. And that last part is what I meant. But you know, they already made one move for a cornerback, Roger McCreary, who I think is more of an inside. If they get an outside corner, I think you're really cooking here. Where you start talking about the Rams, like, hey, this could be a legit Super Bowl team. A lot of people already view them that way, but they could really increase their stock or their odds of winning a Super Bowl. So, why not Sean McVay and Leslie go ahead and do it there. I mentioned in the title here of this video, Alontae Taylor is available. You're playing the Saints. Maybe you go find Mickey Loomis after the game or before the game and say, hey man, it's time. Give up all the players, Mickey. Like you haven't made the playoffs in 5 years. You're not gonna do it again. Break up the band and give us Alontae Taylor. So hopefully Les Snead is doing that. But yeah, I think they have one more move here, and I think Sean McVay is trying to be a little secretive. But that second part that he mentioned, I think says it all. You never know if the right offer comes along, the right player comes along. If they get an outside cornerback, I think they'll be fine. And we're gonna break down what it means having Roger McCreary. I'm not saying he can't play outside, but two is better than one for the secondary. And also, if you're watching the show live, don't be shy. Let us know you're here because the World Series is going on. People are probably watching Dodgers Blue Jays Game 5, but we want to know: are we alone? Are people here? Are people watching the show and having the baseball game at the same time? I would like to know.
Yeah, let us know if you think the Dodgers can come back from being down 2-0 already in the first inning. So
Oh,
let us know what you think there. And we'll get more into the trade talk and all that. We have a great show for you, planning to cover for this game preview between the Rams and the Saints. We have the latest news and notes plus storylines for both teams going into this matchup. And lastly, we'll do our game predictions, Gilbert. But what do you got for the people? What is your engagement question of the week here?
yeah, and shout out to Daniel Calderon getting the comments
Yeah.
going there. He's not a baseball guy, so he's here locked in on House of Horns. Shout out to you, Daniel. So maybe not everybody is watching baseball. People want to hear about Rams versus the Saints, week 9. We're at the halfway point already. But yeah, let us know for the engagement question of the week. What are some keys here for the Rams to win the game? But actually, now I think about it, you have a second engagement question, Victor. That's kind of the one we always go to. Let us know the keys to victory for the Rams hosting the Saints on Sunday. But also, what do the Rams need to improve on in the second half of the season? Is it that secondary that I was just talking about, getting an outside cornerback? Maybe you want to see more help at linebacker next to Nate Landman. Maybe you want some more depth on the offensive line. You never know when injuries occur on the O line. Uh, Maybe you want another weapon for Matthew Stafford. They seem okay in that department there, but you never know. More is better. Uh, so let us know, not just trade wise, in terms of scheme, anything you want to see improve on this team here for the second half of the season. Let us know in the comments. Let us know, on the live channel here if you're here with us. Hopefully, it's not just Daniel, but it's funny just having this show during the World Series.
Yep, that's the way it goes sometimes. Uh, if Daniel says to get Adams going, that
Mm.
that would be good. And then an upgrade from 2-2. So that's another good one. And the reason we wanted to do this, we wanted to ask people what they wanted to see improve here in the second half is because we got some responses to our post there. So I wanted to share them here, Gilbert. We got one from GP Shadow says Super Bowl bound in SoFi North. We just need to start faster, like we did against the Eagles and the Jaguars. We also got Mark Mazar says run the ball. Let's get the backs going. So they want to see the running game get going in the second half here. Delbert, who always chimes in here, says, with the tough division opponent schedule pending, plus the Bucks and Lions looming, we have no room for error. Waiting for the Rams to play consistently for 4 quarters. Still a lot to clean up. 5-2 puts us in a good spot. Rams forever. And one last one here, Gilbert, from another person who's always in the comments here. James Wheelock says, I'm very happy with the Rams at 5-2. Stafford has been impressive so far. Maybe get some help at corner before the trade deadline. So they answered his call there, and they did make another he look at that. James Wheelock, we just shared his comment, and he says, I'm here at a sports bar watching the Dodgers. Let's get Whittington in the offense. Don't take the Saints lightly.
I love it. Thank you for jumping on, James. You're multitasking here with the World Series. Hopefully the Dodgers pick it up. Yeah, it'd be nice to get Jordan Whittington more on the offense. And last time we saw the Rams before the bye week in London against the Jaguars, everybody got involved. So I'm with James here. Get more of the other guys involved.
And talking about what he said there at the end, where it says cornerback before the trade deadline, that's where we're going to start our news and notes segment, Gilbert. And that is that the Rams traded for Titans cornerback Roger McCreary. You wrote about it. What are the Rams getting here in this trade? And what grades did you give for this trade?
Yeah, I think I gave the Rams a B and the Titans like a C plus. Like this is, and I won't call it a total steal because again, I don't know if Roger could play on the outside, but he's a good player. He's a feisty player, a reliable slot cornerback on the inside. I know he has played some outside in his career, but mostly primarily on the inside. But I think all it cost the Rams might have been like a 6th round pick. I think they got McCrary in a 7th round pick. I could be wrong here. I forgot on
Yeah,
the
one
numbers
of them
here.
was the Ernest Jones. Remember, they've traded before, and so they got that Ernest Jones trade. So there's that, and then it was a pick swap as well.
Yeah, so I'm losing track because a lot of these deals, the trend is I'm noticing from these deals were like, again, it's not big star players. It's somewhat unknown players, players who need a fresh start. And what the trend is like you get the player, and then you also get like a 7th round pick or a 6th round pick, and what you're doing in return for the team, you're giving them a higher pick. But you know it's weird because you would think McCrary will be enough. You don't have to throw in a 7th round pick, but so for the Rams to get an extra pick and they gave up their higher pick, I think it makes all the sense in the world. I couldn't give it an A grade because McCurry again doesn't have a track record of playing on the outside, and I think that's the biggest need. But in the short term, it's going to help out because the Rams have some injuries. I know there's some concerns. I haven't checked the injury report. You're going to share that right now, Victor. I know Cam Kinchins got hurt, the safety. So if you move Quinton Lake from slot corner or the star, that's what they call him with the Rams, and you move him back to safety to team up with Cam Curl, then you open up a spot for Roger McCreary. It doesn't really solve your issue at the outside, but when everybody gets healthy, maybe you start tinkering with the idea. So depth, flexibility, options are all good, and that's why I gave it a B grade for the Rams here, and it didn't cost much. So I love that. Maybe I could have bumped it up a little higher, but again, I just don't know how much they'll get out of McCreary when it comes for the outside situation. But hey, the deadline's not over yet. We still have a week to go. If the Rams could get an outside, that'll be big.
Yeah, and I mean, I brought up Denzel Ward yesterday on our show on on the Four Compas, but you never know. I mean, my biggest thing, and I was gonna kind of save it, but since you got into it here, we might as well talk about it. We'll just give storylines for the Rams later on. Um, I'm just wondering here if they're gonna have 2 first round picks, the Rams are, right? And we know that if the Falcons continue to lose, there that draft pick's going to be higher up than the ones the Rams have, right? So I just wonder if you go for it this season and you try to go get Denzel Ward from the Browns, because the Browns, they're gonna try and they're gonna try and rebuild. They love their their front office is very analytical. They want draft picks. They want to be able to get as many chances at getting at being able at a lottery system for them. That's how they see it. They want to make sure that they get as many turns as possible, and so I'm just wondering if the Rams would go all in and trade their first round pick and keep the Falcons one and try to go after Denzel Ward.
Yeah, I wonder how much that comes into the line of thinking is say the Falcons lose to who I forgot who they're playing
They're
this week.
playing the Patriots.
Yeah, if they lose to the Patriots, which is definitely a losable game in New England, I want to say they're banged up, and say they're 3-6, and it's looking like you might get a top 10 pick. Then you're probably thinking like, you know what, let's maybe lose one of these first round picks here. And yeah, you're right. You rather give up the Rams pick instead of the Falcons pick because the Rams are going to do better. But then the question is like, who's really out there that's worth the first round pick? There's not really a star cornerback that's available. Star cornerbacks are actually kind of rare when you think about it. Um, so yeah, the biggest players out there that you could change the mind of these owners or GMs is like Max Crosby, Jeffrey Simmons, Trey Hendrickson, Kevon Thibodeau. These are all players on the front. The Rams are okay there. They're set.
Yep.
Byron Young's having a career year. You still got Jared Verse, who's a monster. You have Braden Fisk and Kobe Turner. You're set there. So to me, there's just nobody really out there. But that's a good point by you, where maybe they start thinking like, okay, what can we do with this first round pick here? Because obviously you need one to draft the quarterback of the future, but also you lose a lot of flexibility. You lose the option of getting the quarterback and a good starter for the long haul. Like you rather have the 2 first round picks, but there's nobody out there. Like Denzel Ward is not worth it. Alontae Taylor is not worth it. These guys are all are probably third, maybe fourth round pick, and then you swap some picks too. Like it's just the way the trade deadline is. It's a lot of talk, a lot of rumors, and then when it comes to it, nobody really gets moved here, especially players in their prime. So I don't know, man. I'm trying to think of somebody who might be pissed off, like maybe like Sauce Gardner with the Jets, or the Jets are probably saying like, "All right, man, we're not gonna do anything with this core group." Gary Wilson too. We're freaking 1-7. Sauce, we just paid you. We're trying to get rid of your contract. You haven't played well, actually. When you think about it, we're gonna trade you. Somebody gave us the first round pick, but I'm at the point where I don't even think Sauce Gardner is worth the first round pick. He's having a rough couple of years right now, but he got paid, and maybe they want to move him. That could be an option. There, you never know. I mean, something could come out of left field out of nowhere.
Yeah, and I just wonder that just because they have that second pick that they can play with, and they you can still draft the quarterback of the future. The issue too, Gilbert, that which I it kind of made me think about this was you're gonna have teams like the Browns already having multiple draft picks, so they're gonna go and get their quarterback as well. Who was the other team? There's a second team that has multiple first round picks besides
Oh,
the
the
Rams.
Cowboys, Rams, and the Browns.
The Browns. And the Browns aren't gonna go. I mean, and the Cowboys aren't gonna go try to
Mm-mm.
draft for a quarterback. They need a pass rusher.
Need
I don't know if
defense.
you've heard that.
Yeah.
Um, there's that. It just made me think. I'm like, look, we've seen this team do it before, and especially right now where we know what their deficiencies are. It's the secondary. Why not go for it? We've seen this team do the whole F them picks, but at the same time, you can still be smart here and keep that pick because you have the Falcons pick, and if they continue to lose, that pick becomes can go up and up. It can be a higher pick, so it's just something to keep in mind, Gilbert.
Yeah, no. If Sauce Gardner gets traded for a first round pick, it's going to be one of these blockbuster trades. And we saw them trade for Jalen Ramsey not too long ago. But I just think they have a different philosophy, and I do believe that Les Snead is more patient now, and I think he wants to keep the first round pick. So, yeah, and then you have the big dilemma with the quarterback situation. So you don't want to lose that, but then again, this quarterback class is not shaping up to what we thought it's going to be.
That's the other thing too. I mean, there's going to be about four quarterbacks, and I mean, yeah, I'm not I'm not great at looking at quarterbacks coming out of college. I already have an issue with a lot of the offenses they're running, but we'll see. I mean, you need to give a lot of these guys. We're starting to see that a lot of these guys that are drafted in the top 10 end up getting recycled later on and having a better season, better to their career later on after they hopped onto their second team. All right, Gilbert, continue on here with news and notes. Rams cornerback Darius Williams suffered an abnormal injury that is something like a shoulder and a last strain, according to Sean McVay. Williams rehab during the bye, but it sounds like he's going to miss this game against the Saints. Um, And I mean that's part of the reason why it was important for them to go and take care of trading for like Roger McCreary, because that you can wait for a Kilo Witherspoon to see if he comes back this season, and so now adding an injury to it, it makes sense to as to why they went and traded for Roger McCreary.
Yeah, I think that's why that was the biggest part of it. Like, who cares if you don't get an outside guy? You need a reliable cornerback just to add depth right now. So, with time, with health, maybe this becomes a much better trade where you're flexible and you get to do what you want to do as a coordinator. And I think Chris Shula is doing a good job to scheme around some of the weaknesses in the secondary. But I want to see this defense with Shula when he has some good cornerbacks. So yeah, maybe they do something here. But McCurry was definitely a much needed add for right now. Again, I couldn't give it an A grade because I just don't know what it does for the big picture. And the big picture here is Super Bowl, and I just don't know if he gets them there without a second move.
Yeah, and continue on here, Gilbert, with the injury report. Puka Nakua and Rai Hivenstein will be limited, but bearing any setbacks, both are trending to play Sunday against the Saints. McVay said today. And then Gary Klein tweeted out that Puka Nakua appeared to be running and cutting without obvious discomfort during the portion of the practice open to the media. And then one more thing here, Tutu Adwell went on IR. He's expected to miss the minimum of 4 games. That's something that Sean McVay told the reporters. And then looking at the injury report here, now that it's come out, Rob Havenstein ankle was limited in practice today. Puka Nakua ankle was limited in practice today. Cam Kitchens, as you mentioned, with the toe, he was limited, and Darius Williams with the shoulder, who we talked about, was also limited for the Saints. Albert Kamara with an ankle was limited. Devin Neal, running back, was with an ankle was limited. Rashid Shaheed, wide receiver with the hip, was limited. And Alontae Taylor, who's in trade discussions, uh, the cornerback dealing with the shoulder was limited. And then you had Jawan Johnson and Chris Olave. Jawan Johnson with the neck and Chris Olave with a ankle were full participants today. So they should be a full goal against the Rams here. Gilbert, anything from that injury report that sticks out to you?
Not really, but that's a lot of injuries, and it makes me wonder. It's just like one of these Wednesday reports where like you just gotta list everything. Everybody's banged up this time of year,
Yep.
and we'll find out more Thursday and Friday. But that's a lot of injuries. So if most of them are
Yeah.
serious, then watch out for a bad team. And here's another thing to think about. A lot of times, players on the trading block have injuries, and
Oh
they
yeah.
just don't. They get placed on the injury report, and then they don't play because you got to keep them healthy for the trading deadline, and you want to get a draft asset. So if all these players who might be on the trading block don't play, that I might tell you something.
Yeah, and it's something to keep in mind there, Gilbert, which takes us right into Rams and Saints week 9 storylines. And Gilbert, you wrote an article this past week on 5 teams that need to be sellers. And one of them, those 5 teams were the Saints. And so my question to you here, where in terms of where the Saints are at for the season, they hired a new coach and Kellen Moore. Things haven't gone as well since Drew Brees retired. It seems like they keep kicking the can to on the credit card bill here for the salary cap. And you talked about Mickey Loomis. I've talked about Mickey Loomis. It seems like they're just never going to just tank or just say, hey, this is the time to finally just let's pay the due now and start worrying about making this thing competitive and drafting, do it through the draft. But where are you at, and what are some names here to kind of keep an eye on for the Saints that might get traded?
Yeah, the Saints are the one team that can make the trade deadline actually entertaining. They have a lot of players that other teams will want. Like they have some talent. They have recognizable names on their roster, but for whatever reason, it's not working there. Like with Dennis Allen to Kellen Moore to the past 5 years. Like I don't know what else this team needs to realize they need a fresh start. They have their veteran heavy. They have some good young players, but they're not players you want to keep for the long haul. Like Even a crappy team like the Browns has Miles Garrett. The Saints don't have a player like that where you don't even think about it. The Raiders too, Max Crosby. The Jets have, guys like Sauce Garner, Garrett Wilson, and Quentin Williams. What do the Saints really have? What are they holding on to? I just don't get it.
So,
It's just not Mickey Loomis' style. I get going to a legendary player for that organization like Alvin Kamara and saying, "What do you want to do?" I get it. That's respectful. Kamara has done a bunch for the franchise. He was there during the glory days of the back end of the Drew Brees career. What about the other guys outside of Cameron Jordan? Maybe Demario Davis. Like the other guys weren't around for the glory days. What's the commitment here? What's the loyalty? Um, I'm trying to go through the reasons. You have a rookie quarterback is going to make his debut, Tyler Shuck, who we got to speak to at the NFLPA. A good guy, seems like a smart dude who has a lot of experience and college football. He got a bad luck of injury. I want to see what he does. So maybe you keep Olave, you keep Shaheed, you keep Kamara, you keep guys like Trevor Penning on the offensive line, and say we got to know what we have in Tyler Shuck. I respect that. I get that. What about defensively? You have nothing here. Um, go trade Demario Davis. Let Cameron Jordan chase a ring. Trade Alontae Taylor. Does Justin Reed want to stay around for this, crap show here? I know he just got paid the safety. Like anybody who's worth something on defense, trade him. Chase Young, like I get he's having an okay season, but you paid him a lot of money. You need to repair the salary cap. Why did you give him 3 years, $51 million? Like let somebody else take on that contract. You're not in a position to eat that much money. Carl Granderson, a very underrated edge rusher who I think is kind of having a little bit of a down season, but in the right scheme, he could definitely be he could definitely be a good player. He's a little older too, but I don't get it. I just gave you like 5, 6 names defensively that could maybe become a a bunch of day 3 picks, and maybe those handful of day 3 picks you later flip over for day 2 picks. So I don't get what Mickey Loomis is doing here. He's just kind of playing it safe here. I think the fans of New Orleans deserve better. I think for the first couple of years of being stubborn was like, hey, we got to field the good team of recognizable names because our Saints fans are loyal. But Saint fans aren't dumb. They want to see something building for the future. And if Mickey Loomis does not do it at this deadline, I don't think he will. He needs to go. You need fresh blood in there. You need a new vision. You need somebody who will be willing to take chances because Loomis is not doing it.
yeah, I'm kind of surprised. Every time I've gone back and talked about the Saints in terms of Mickey Loomis, I'm always just surprised that he's been there so long. I mean, he's been there so long, Gilbert, that he was involved in the Chris Paul trade in
Yeah.
basketball. He was the GM of the New Orleans Pelicans at one
Wow.
point. I mean, that just tells you how long he's been there. He was there through Bounty Gate and he survived. I don't know if it was because there was a change in ownership because the owner passed away and the wife took over and she needed to kind of get through that before making and letting people who know about football you know do the football stuff. But it's been it's been forever now since Drew Brees retired. It's time to, I'm sure Saint fans would agree. It's time to make a change there, bring in new blood, and make this team. They deserve better there, and it just seems like they don't want to kick the can. They want to continue to just continue to have star names like you mentioned, and I just think like eventually you have to move on here, and so I'm with you there, and it just sucks for the Saints, but here we are again. Like it feels like they're gonna be drafting in the top 10 the next couple of years, and they're gonna go back. If they have a top 10 pick next year and there's a quarterback there, they're gonna go after it, and that's how they're gonna try to solve things.
Yeah, maybe they want the Nussmeyer, the son of the OC there currently. Plays at LSU, so not far away, and maybe that could be a recognizable name that you could sell tickets to. But he's having a rough college season, so we'll see what they decide to do. But yeah, this team likes to have like a really slow pace at rebuilding, and I don't even think what have they really done here. They lose competitively, they lose with grace, they lose with pride. That's all. Is that all they have here? I just
Yeah,
again, they don't have a Crosby or a Miles Garrett or Garrett Wilson. They don't have a blue chip star here. They need one.
yeah. Yeah, and it'll be interesting. I do wonder what Cam Jordan wants to do. If he wants to just retire it as a Saint, or does he actually want to win? Go out and chase a ring and ask the Saints, "Hey, can you release me and let me go?" That is something that I'm actually really intrigued by, just because he seems like a really genuine person. Every time I see him, people just gravitate towards him because he is someone that is very likable, Gilbert.
Yeah, I just don't know how much he has left in the tank. Also, does seeing Alvin Kamara say I want to stay here kind of have the same mindset for Kamara? So sorry for Cameron Jordan. They want to stay. It's a good city. They've given their all there. I respect that. But some of the guys who have not been there that long, I don't get what we're doing here.
Yeah, one of the things I always remember about Cam Jordan is that at one point there was a Cameron Jordan, and there was a Cameron Jordan and a Jordan Cameron in the league at
Yeah,
the same time.
the tight end for the Browns and
Yep.
how confusing it was. But yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that. And
I was like,
he's
which one is
outplayed that
it?
guy. Yeah.
All right, Gilbert. We're kind of going through this real quick, so let's go to keys to a Rams win versus the Saints here. I'm sure it's there's. I'm interested to see what you have to say here.
Yeah. Pretty much. It's kind of similar to when they play the Tennessee Titans or they play these other crappy teams. It's like, all right, maybe run the football a little more. You want to have a game where you could be a little more efficient with Matthew Stafford. Again, he's an older quarterback where you got to keep him fresh, and you don't want him to just feed constantly Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. To me, I would not be surprised if it's a big Blake Corum game or it's a big Kyron Williams game. Maybe a little more of the tight ends where you know you could give it to Terrence Ferguson, and we saw how he was starting to get involved a little bit. He got the touchdown in London, so uh, maybe tinker with some stuff here. This could be a game too where you could get a little bit of some gadget plays and kind of help out your offense, but for the long run. But I think lean on the ground game. You just play it safe. Build the lead, build the cushion, and get out safely.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I was thinking about it, and I'm like, look, you're gonna get Puka Nakua back, right? And so you kind of want to make sure that you spread the ball around. I really like what I saw in that game against the Jaguars, but most of it was too because they were in London. It was drizzling, and I was kind of surprised that they came out throwing the ball. And I just wonder if they're gonna run the ball more in this game. They're gonna try to be more balanced. And like you said, just take care of business. And then defensively, you have a rookie quarterback out there. Just pressure him. Make them be the one that makes the mistakes here, and just get out with the win here. And because the as Delbert said earlier in the show there with this comment, you you have to take care of business here because you have a schedule now for the next couple of weeks where it's going to get tough. You got the 49ers who usually play you tough every year. You got the Bucks and the Lions plus the Seahawks twice there as well. So yeah, take care of business, and just get out of here with the win, and be healthy.
Yeah, those are some big time games. So I'm glad you mentioned that. So if they're able to if they find themselves in the fourth quarter where the game's a blowout and they can experiment with the playbook, like that'll be huge for these big time games that are coming up here. So obviously you don't want to show too much because of these big time games, but just to kind of tinker with some stuff, you never know. And yeah, maybe this could be a game where you don't mind if the defense does the heavy workload. That way you're not showing too much offensively. You're not stressing on the arm of Matthew Stafford, who's 37 years old. You're not putting pressure on Puka Nacua, who might be rushing back, hopefully not, on that injury there. So if the defense is able to just shut down Tyler Shuck, that'd be good. They're younger on that side of the ball. You have a great front to put pressure on this guy. Uh, you know, they are a very good defense. I know I give them crap for the secondary, but the numbers don't lie. That front with the combination of Nate Landman, they are a top 5 defense. I know they have their weaknesses, but man, when it's on, it's clicking. They smother the crap out of Trevor Lawrence in London. So what can they do at home against a rookie quarterback making his debut? I know he's older. He doesn't really count as a rookie. He's 26 years old,
Right.
but it is his first career start in the regular season.
Yeah, and he's having to do it on the road. I had a question for you here, just because I thought about it as you were talking there, and how much here just talking about Matthew Stafford and what they might do here offensively against the Saints. Do you at all would you would you put it past McVay to start pushing Stafford into the MVP conversation by getting him more touchdowns, especially after he had those 5 against the Jaguars?
I don't think they care about that, and I'm sure Stafford will say that too, especially if McVay does it without saying anything. I think they all care about Super Bowls. They want another one. I think that's why he keeps playing at this point in his career. So I don't know if they care about that. He is playing pretty well, and also at the end of the day, it's like is it Mahomes award to lose? Is it a Josh Allen award? Like I don't know how many votes Stafford would get. Like maybe it's an unfair thing, but he doesn't have the same attention as those guys. Maybe because he's not as young. It's funny with Matthew Stafford's career, he was never viewed, at least not until he got with the Rams, as a top 5 quarterback because he got lost in Detroit. And then now with LA, he's kind of on the second tier where like he plays just as well as some of these guys. Like I think when he's on, he's on. He plays just as well as Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, Burrow. Even Justin Herbert gets a little more attention than Matthew Stafford. I think the combination of age, uh, you know, has has definitely hindered him when it comes to attention and MVP candidacy. So I think even if they make a push, I don't know if he'll get it, but who cares, man? If he's playing the way he's playing and they lead him, like it's funny. They don't pay attention to Stafford when it comes to QB rankings and MVP, but when it comes to Super Bowl contender status, watch out. They got Matthew Stafford. So I
Yep.
just don't get how this works here, the narrative. But it's true. When you got a guy like that who's able to be elite when it matters the most and a proven track record, uh, they're a dangerous team. And my issue is never with the offense. It's just like, can they defend the secondary? And maybe the offense, we do give them crap because they tend to go cold for long stretches, but it's just always that like they could always turn it on. They could always flip the switch on, and it could
Yep.
be annoying sometimes, but it's true. You can't really deny that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm just wondering, just because like it feels like that's one thing I don't remember Matthew Stafford being on a MVP ballot before, just because he was with Detroit, and then the year he was here with the when he won the Super Bowl, I don't remember him if he got any MVP votes, and so I just wonder if that'll be something that keeps him from the Hall of Fame. So just something to keep in mind. And we know how some of these coaches know stuff like this, and they want to make sure that their guy gets rewarded, especially for what he's done here with the Rams. So I just wanted to bring that up. And you talked about it, that you felt like it was Puka Nakua, but with Puka kind of getting hurt, I just wonder, and him and Matthew Stafford getting those 5 touchdowns, I wonder if there's a push the second half here to try to get him at least into the top 5 MVP discussion there. So just something to keep in mind, Gilbert.
Yeah, if he does it against the Buccaneers and the Lions and the Seahawks and the 49ers, I think definitely the narrative could switch here.
All right, Gilbert, let's get to the betting angle here. The Rams are 14-point favorites here. The over under is 43.5. What's the right side of this line? The Rams are 5-2 against the spread this season, Gilbert.
Sorry, yeah, definitely check out the betting show that we have here on Compas on the Beat. Game week with the Compas. We touched on this one, and I wish it was 14 and a half so I could take the Saints with confidence, but I'll still take the Saints with the points, not for my pick. So that's a lot of points for the Rams here to lay 14. They are at home though. They are coming off a bye week. They are facing a rookie quarterback, but I'll just take a chance here and say the Saints
Saints.
lose with some pride here.
Yeah, I like the Rams here. I like the 14. If it, like you said, if it was 14 and a half, I take the Saints here. It just feels like the Rams might just run the ball here, take care of business, and then get out of here with the win, because like I said, they got big matchups coming up, and so they just want to make sure they take care of business. And they haven't looked all that great at home. You look at the game against the Colts, you look at the game against the Niners. And then you look at the game against the Texans, they seem to play down to their competition at home or lose, as we've seen against the 49ers. That Colts win looks more impressive now just because of what's happened with the Colts. They're the only loss so far, and the Rams are responsible for it. So, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You just want to take care of business. All right, Gilbert. I think that we pretty much know which way we're going here. Go ahead and let the people know what our game prediction is here.
Yeah, I could definitely see it low scoring. So I'll go like, trying to think, 23 to 13. Is that still an under? I forget. Is that no? That's
What
probably
is
like
it? What was it again? Sorry.
23 to 13. That'll be 36. I'll be under, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So give me the Rams to win 23 to 13. They don't cover, but you got the under here, and the Rams win, and they win in dominant fashion. So it's a lot of points to lay, but I think the Rams will have no trouble here.
Yeah, I think it's for me. I'm going like 35 to 20, where they barely cover here. The Rams do, and they'll, they'll come close to getting what is it? What did I say? 35-20. Yeah, and I'll take the over as well here, just because I feel like the Rams are gonna take care of business. I can see McVay just, you know, pushing the buttons, all the right buttons, and like you said, trying out some new plays here to try to get ready for that gauntlet that's coming after this game. So I'm with you. I like the Rams in this game. They take care of business at home, and then get ready for the big matchups coming up, Gilbert.
Uh, yeah, I'm going to talk very minimal because my son's crying, so I'll let you close it out
Yeah.
here, Vic.
No, yeah, we're good to go, Gilbert. It was a good show here. It's time for us to go, but yeah, let me just give a couple more. No, no, you know what? Let's end it here, Gilbert. It was a good show. I know a lot of people are watching the World Series game, so if you watch the replay, get back to us. Let us know. Give us your comments if you think the Rams will make a trade or what's going to happen here in terms of what your expectations are for this game against the Saints. But with that said, it's time for us to go. So Gilbert, go ahead and close us out here.
Yeah, I think maybe my son's crying because the Dodgers are losing, but it's time to get going. Ya nos vamos, pues. Vámonos.